Ruxa, Patient Professor, is our commander deck tech for the week. This is a casual deck. Its power level is 3 to 5. It's a Wurm commander tribal. Now we're running Ruxa because if a creature has no abilities, it can pump it by +1/+1. And it also allows our creatures to hit the opponents, even if they have blockers. Let's talk about the Wurm. We're running Broodhunter Wurm, Plated Wurm, and Spined Wurm. All these are great vanilla creatures. We have Cowl Prowler, Craw Wurm, and Primordial Wurm. These are bigger ones at 6 CMC, and they're all pretty beefy. For more power, we're also running Vastwood Gorger, Canopy Gorger, and Barbtooth Wurm. Gotta love that art. Quilled Slag Wurm, Scaled Wurm, and Whiptail Wurm also make up some of our larger converted mana cost creatures, at 7 in our 8 drops. For some non-vanilla creatures, we're running Arrogant Wurm, Dirt Cowl Wurm, and Bellowing Tangle Wurm. Gravetiller Wurm and Vigor Spore Wurm are also pretty interesting as well. For even more worms, we are running Ravenous Lindworm and Yavimaya Wurm. Greater Sandworm, Bramble Wurm, and Rootbreaker Wurm are also great cards. Pump. Let's make our worms even bigger. Using Spider Umbra and Rancor, we can get in for some trample and some protection. Bow of Nylea and Seraph the Viper's Fang give our worms death touch so that our opponents don't want to block them. Primal Rage, Predatory Focus, and Bower Passage also provide some evasion. We really want to hit our opponents in the face, so all of these are very helpful. Overwhelming Stampede, Predatory Rampage, and Overrun provide some mass board pump effects. These can close out games easily with our army of worms. Beastmaster Ascension, Sight of the Scale Lords, and Muraganda Petroglyphs are all very useful in pumping our worms as well. Jamoka's Gift, Blessing of Frost, and Catched Defenses allow us to pump up one of our creatures a lot. Leyline of Vitality and Spider Silk Armor give some nice toughness boost to our worms as well. Removal. We are running Monstrous Onslaught and Pinion Feast. Both of these can deal with some pesky creatures. Draw. Garruk's Uprising, Bequeathal, and the Great Henge provide some great card draw for our deck. You Meet in a Tavern and Harmonize are also pretty standard draw for green. Return of the Wild Speaker and Rishkar's Expertise might be our best draws, in that they can draw us lots of cards if we have a nice worm on the battlefield. Ramp. At our 1 slot, we have Wild Growth. Then we have Cultivate, Map the Wastes, and Kodama's Reach. For our 4 slot, we have Nature's Will and Celebrate the Harvest. Both of these can help a lot to untap our lands or ramp a lot into play. Crows and Drover and Nylea, God of the Hunt, reduce our worms' converted mana cost so that we can cast them more easily. Endgame Spells. Kindred Summons is a super card for any tribal deck, and especially in this Wurm Tribal Ruxa deck, allowing us to essentially double all of the worms that we have in play. Vitalizing Wind is another great overrun type effect, but you may notice this one is at instant speed, an easy way to close out the game. Thank you for watching this Commander deck tech on Ruxa. Be sure to play some Wurm Tribal with this Bear Druid as your commander. Don't forget to subscribe and like the video. See you next time.